Listen, slurry head, you have ruined our lives. The 12 maidens dancing turned up last night and beat the living daylights out of the 8 maids of milking because they found them carrying on with the 11 lords of leaping. Meanwhile, the swans got out of the living room where they've been hiding since the big battle and savaged hell over the lords and all the maids. There were 8 ambulances here last night and the local civil defence as well. The mother is in a home for the bewildered and I'm sitting here up to me neck in birds, droppings, antique whiskey and Valium bottles, birds, blood and feathers, where the flaming cows eats the leaves off the pear tree. I'm a broken man. Come it all out of sea.
Dear Nola by Frank Kelly. One of the favorites for so many people at this time of year. 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging. Before we continue, just to let you know that the poem we recited today was The Christmas Spirit by Edgar Albert Guest. The Christmas Spirit by Edgar Albert Guest. And the theme song, the spoken word piece that you just heard is entitled Dear Nola by Frank Kelly. So as we said, 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 9th day of the 12th and final month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. The 2022 Atlantic hurricane season is over, but we still need to be mindful of unstable weather in this month of December. According to the National Meteorological Service, there's a high-pressure system across Jamaica and the Central Caribbean. The high-pressure system is expected to remain across the region throughout the weekend. That's why we've been having the weather conditions we've been experiencing, mostly fair conditions. And that's a function of the high-pressure system, which is expected to remain across the region throughout the weekend. A weak trough, and remember what a trough represents, some kind of wet weather. A weak trough, so the impact shouldn't be too great. It's a weak one. A weak trough will enter the vicinity of the island on Monday. Look for isolated showers across north, central, and eastern parishes for the rest of this afternoon, otherwise partly cloudy. Tonight will be partly cloudy across northern parishes, mainly fair elsewhere. It's Constitution Day in Northern Marianas and Independence Day in Tanzania. It's International Anti-Corruption Day, OIS. We'll tell you all about it in Spanish in just a moment. 2:15.
Offer contactless clearance to you. Your agent will indicate if you've been selected under the contactless clearance process. Importers use contactless clearance and avoid the wait. Email contactless clearance at jca.jm. In focus. Contact information and we will process your order during the sale day. We're always giving out the best value. We're talking about customer comes first. 32 of the world's best national football teams have converged in the Middle Eastern nation of Qatar for the greatest show on earth, the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Tune into our play from now until December 18th for the 2022 FIFA World Cup Roundup, Monday to Friday, 6:10 to 6:30 p.m. Brought to you by B&B Williams Heavy Equipment Limited and Martin Black Quarry and Block Factory. Last night, and the vet scale was 22 pounds. I know you
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Here's the usual introduction. Hoy es viernes, el 9 de diciembre 2022. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est vendredi le 9 décembre 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Friday, the 9th of December, 2022, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices, and that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. We're taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, listening to this spoken word piece by Frank Kelly. We can't help. That's for me. Feel free to enter the studio, Abigail. I'm always ready to accept a gift, a present that comes from the heart. Anyway, no, just listening to this spoken word piece, I'm thinking to myself of asking, I was saying to myself, I perhaps should ask those listening to us, what's the best Christmas gift you have ever received? And what's the worst Christmas gift you have ever received? The best and the worst. Who wants to take that on? Williams saying, how are you? I'm fine, thanks, Williams. How are you? Hubert Fowlin, good to see you online. Good afternoon to you too, and thank you for your afternoon greetings to our listening audience. Very pleasant and blessed Friday, says Hubert Fowlin. Lisa Brown Campbell says, that carol is so funny. He starts off so happy and grateful, then progresses to frustrating, then sheer anger. Indeed, your interpretation is most apropos. Right, so what's the best gift you have ever received? The best Christmas gift you have ever received? On the one hand, and on the other hand, what's the worst Christmas gift you have ever received? Feel free to share with us. Outside of that, though, whatever else is on your mind, please feel free to share. 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Good afternoon, Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada. Good to have you on board. Good afternoon to Rico. Thank you very much for tuning in as well. Good afternoon to Franklin McDonald in Guelph, Canada. Good to have you on board. And who else do we need to say afternoon to? Good afternoon to Neil Curtis, who sends us a picture of organic sprays equaling better food. He's in the field somewhere. Good afternoon to you, Neil Curtis, and the other members of the team of Farm Up Jamaica. A couple of leftover messages from yesterday, one of them from Crocs in Black River. He says a judge did hint in the case brought by a detainee that the use of the SOEs in the way that they were being used was, and you have here unconditional. I think you meant unconstitutional. Now, was it the totality of the state of public emergency that was deemed unconstitutional? Or was it the protracted detention without charge of I don't remember how many of them, but the matter obviously went before the court, and the court ruled in favor of the claimants. That's what I remember from that case. That's what I remember. That the judge seemed to have taken issue with the length of time, with the detention of these men, and the length of time they were held, and the impact on their lives and livelihood. And to say it's unconstitutional is saying that the Constitution never contemplated that kind of treatment. Never contemplated that kind of treatment. Yes, a state of emergency or a state of public emergency, but just a general sense of respect and regard for the law is key. All right. Thank you very much, Crocs in Black River. By the way, Crocs, I think you might have to I'm just humbly suggesting that you change up your style a bit, because when I listen to messages being read on the other programs, I guarantee you, Crocs, I get it right every time when I say, I bet you that message is from Crocs in Black River. I mean, your signature is on all of them. It's so easy to tell which messages came from Crocs in Black River. But so it is. That means nobody can steal your style then, Crocs, because you have a distinctive way of transmitting your thoughts and criticisms and general comments. But it's true. I've never gotten it wrong. I hear a message being read, and I just know that that message is from Crocs in Black River, and I get it right every time. Every time. So perhaps it's a reflection of the consistency with which Crocs expresses his thoughts and ideas and comments and criticisms on matters of national interest. Thank you for your message, Crocs in Black River. Barry says, bless up, Sir Malcolm. PM behaving like is his money buying garbage trucks and building house for poor. Foolish childishness in the 21st century. Okay, Barry, thank you very much for your message, and all the very best to you as we take some more of your responses. 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. I'm sorry, did we neglect to mention that after playing to a 1-all draw, this is Croatia versus Brazil. After playing to a 1-all draw, the match went into penalties. Croatia scored 4, Brazil 2. And the Brazilians are out. Now, they weren't out earlier on, those here in Jamaica, because the area, the route that we took on our way to Lyndhurst Road, the route that we took was not heavily trafficked, and we surmised that the majority supporters of Brazil were actually watching the match somewhere, and so they weren't on the street moving up and down. The moment that match ended, it was like gridlock, traffic jam everywhere. One moment, please. 2:30. Yeah, no, the support for Brazil is real. Seriously. We saw the difference this afternoon in terms of the impact on the traffic environment. Yeah, it was quite something. Well, so it is. Croatia are through. Moving on, and the Brazilians are going home. So it is. And which match is on now? Is it Argentina versus the Netherlands, I believe? Argentina versus the Netherlands. And guess which team John is supporting? All right. Did you guess the Netherlands? All right. Now, why do you think John is supporting the Netherlands? Maybe we should ask John himself. Why, John? Why are you supporting the Netherlands? For what reason? What is it about the Netherlands that you love so much? Maybe you can tell us, John. Anyway, good afternoon to John. Let's see. Asha Ash, who is still in Jamaica having a grand time, says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Have a nice day." Same to you, Asha Ash, and hope you'll enjoy Spanish Town as well. And wherever else you'll be enjoying. Kingston, of course. And all the very best to you for the rest of your time here in Jamaica. And we wish you journeying mercies back to London eventually. Thank you very much. All the best. Your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And as we said, taking your calls on 876 922 4112 to 5, 876 922 4112 to 5. So it's still nil all between in this quarterfinal encounter between the Netherlands and Argentina. Nil all. And 31 minutes gone in the game so far, which is being played at the Lusail Stadium. The referee is Antonio Mathieu Lajos. Let's go to the phone lines. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon. Why are you rubbing it in? Why are you doing that to the Brazilian supporters and fans who are listening to us right now? Why would you do that? Well, so it is. Mhm. Why not? They didn't what? Oh, I see what you mean. Hmm. Oh, so at this point you're still backing France then? Okay. When it and there is something about the French and the English. They have these little nuances between the two cultures that it will be a battle of those cultures perhaps, but it's going to be a cracker. It should be. It should be an exciting match. When is that match, by the way? Oh, okay. You are saying as a historian? I Yeah, yes, I wasn't sure I wanted to put it down to that war, but I I was just thinking about some of the nuances. I don't want to get into those now, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and we have to. It's a story of life, isn't it? We the ups and downs, the highs, the lows, the wins, the losses. It's it 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 really is a system that allows each of us as individuals, or gives each of us the opportunity to achieve equilibrium at some point or another. The fact that we have ups and downs, wins and losses, good and bad, etc., etc. Yeah, story of life. The recalibration is always necessary. You mean Senator Damian Crawford? But but be careful now, because earlier on you said you were just being factual, but now you're not being factual. He wouldn't be the first to have found himself in this position. Yeah, yeah. But in any case, it factually speaking, he is an opposition senator. Yes. from 16 to 18. Yes. What about those who would argue that, look, not all homes are stable, not all families are stable, and have and made up of parents and guardians who who first of all have a level of awareness about raising children. I mean, you don't go to any school to learn that. Normally, that's passed on from generation to generation. But oh well, uh, it yeah. So what do you say to those who? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Oh. No, it's the facts of life, as that comedy that used to be on TV. Facts of, you take the good, you take the bad, and something and something and something again. The facts of life. That's a reality, but we shouldn't shy away from sharing age appropriate information with our children, because that's the other thing. We have to know what is appropriate at what age, so that we don't shock them, or otherwise cause them to become discombobulated. Yes. Well, they have HFLE these days. That's what they call it, which is, let me see if I can remember, HFLE. So that's home, family. What's the L for? HFL. Home, family life education, or something like that. Somebody who knows will tell us in a little while. So that's how these matters are taught these days. They have HFLE. Yeah, health, family. Uh, yeah, somebody will remind us in a little while. Right, just to put it out there factually, it's called Health and Family Life Education. Health and Family Life Education. That's how they teach these things. That's the banner under which these matters are dealt with now. As I know of the high schools, I'm not sure what obtains in primary school. Yeah, well, the hope is that we are able to get a hold of our society and our people in particular, and help to steer them away from clogging up our prisons. And if we're able to do that, then we won't need to be building multiple correctional facilities. Yeah. Yeah, but how would you feel if that was done to you? If your rights were taken away or your rights were violated with impunity? Would that be okay? Hmm. What should happen if you're found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Okay. So you don't believe in rehabilitation? Well, that is a wholesale procedure, a whitewashing. Ideally, each case is treated or is dealt with on its own merit. That's how that is supposed to be. There are some people who who based on their situation will end up getting bail. There are others, again, based on their situation, who will not end up getting bail. Yes. I don't know about that. And this is the thing. Mouth, as my late mother would say, mouth make fi say anything, it turn crossway. Yeah, but here's the thing now. Have for the ones that you are citing, were you in court from the very outset following the case to be able to say that they should not they should not they should not be found guilty or whatever, or as you said, you were making a point about being in the judge's back pocket. I would have to see that evidence before even giving it any thought, much less. Huh? Yeah, but people can say anything. They do, and they're saying a lot of things right now as we speak, I'm sure. Mount McPhee say anything, but you still need evidence. Yes. True. Hold a moment, please. One moment. 246 on Power 106. Yes, please pick up where we left off.
Lot of people can do what drivers and for years and never get to the ticket because they follow the law. So what would be them different? You know, sir, I love
Yes.
the song you play, the opening song. That's one of my favorite songs.
Yes, happy to hear that.
I look forward to hearing it.
Yes, indeed. Same here.
Thanks very much, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you too. All the best. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. If you missed it, Argentina have scored, so it's 1-0 in favor of Argentina in their match against the Netherlands. This is the 37th minute of play. The goal was scored in the 35th minute by Nahuel Molina. Nahuel Molina. Molina means hill. Is it hill? Hill. Molina. Oh, let's see. All right. Uh, let me see here. Let's go back to the phone lines 876-922-4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon, Mr. Coombs. You know, there was a time in this country that you couldn't, and I think it has been so for some time, that you couldn't go on RGR, whether as a caller to a talk show or a host, and dare mention another station. It was a big problem. They would have none of it. Just look at us now as the thing goes. Uh-huh. Yeah. No, that's it. Uh-huh. More power to everybody. Look on the brighter side. Look on the brighter side, Mr. Coombs. You have managed to mobilize an army of people to research for you, and they have come back sharing the information with you, and you can confidently now state it going forward. Loud and clear.
Azaria, what are you talking about? What?
And Indian, you know, back up to you. And every guard there's bad weed and good weed. Thanks for listening. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much. All the
All the
best.
best.
Take
Thank you.
care. Bye bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. Good afternoon to the Jamaican American Association of Central Florida. The message says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. This is Joan, JAAOCF member in Florida. That's the Jamaican American Association of Central Florida. Welcome. Welcome, Joan Edgehill. Jeannie Chambers, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us. And hello as well to Sean Chambers. He says, good afternoon, Uncle Dervan. Have a good show, my brother. I love you, my brother, he says. Williams asks, how are you? I'm fine, thanks, Williams. Patrick Howell says, good day, sir. I supported the Germans and the Dutch. The reason for Dutch is they don't discriminate against black like Brazil and Argentina. Their brand and history of football are great. And Anne Ramsey shows someone a couple of memes, uh, someone running between two footballs. Patrick Howell says the Dutch are such humble people and their cities are so clean. I can remember the Dutch past players like Ruud Gullit, Marco van Basten, Dennis Bergkamp, and many more. History is on their side, says Patrick Howell. Thank you for your message. Let's go back to the phone lines, 876-922-4112 to 5. It's halftime in the quarterfinal match between the Netherlands and Argentina. Another name for the Netherlands, Holland. Just in case some people are confused, the same place we refer to as the Netherlands is the same place we call Holland. So it's the Netherlands 0, Argentina 1. That is the situation at halftime. That's the situation right now. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Uh-huh.
Okay, a gentleman just called you a while ago and tell you that Holland bamboo is 2.5 miles long.
Yes, he has been telling us that for some time now.
And he's right. I'm born and grew in Middlesex. The gas station right there across the bridge belonged to my uncle, Mr. Leddister. I grew up in that area, and I used to work at the Holland estate as a heavy equipment mechanic on heavy equipment. He is 100% right. It's 2.5 miles long.
I'm sure he'll be happy to hear you say that.
Yes. And the next comment that I have, I disagree with anyone that supports Brazil or sorry for Brazil, because I don't sorry for them. I'm glad they lose.
Why?
Because of what they do to the Indians and the black people. They slave them, they slave them, they slave them. And I remember that very, very well. I am 82 years old, And that gentleman that called you and said that him is again 100% right for everything he says to you.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yes, and those are my comments for today. I love your show. I call you all the time. And I will always call you and continue, sir. God bless you. Keep up the good work.
Bless you too. Thanks for the call. All the best.
Yes, sir.
Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
How are what's the weather like in Mandeville, Manchester now?
Cool and nice.
Good.
But you don't get in the rain. With a little case about it, 2 o'clock hours, but nothing to think about. You could walk through it.
Good.
Yeah, very cool and nice.
So what's happening now?
Yeah, what happened now? Tell me, the other day in Netherlands, they tried to give some money towards reparation money towards slavery. You heard that? You heard it?
I heard. I wasn't listening in depth, but I did hear something along those lines. Yes.
Yes. I wonder what the British are gonna say.
They are not the Netherlands, perhaps.
No, they're not the Netherlands, but I mean, they were the mother of slave trading. So I wonder what they're gonna say, because they must get a ship when they see this country come up and decide to compensate it, do something for slavery. By the way, there's not slavery. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't get the impression based on how they have, based on their posture so far. I won't hold my breath.
Well, until the hunter becomes the hunted, things will always go on wrong at this world. All right. We have this thing chugging us for so long, the slavery thing here and the crime in the country. Now, I read somebody before your show said, well, give everybody a piece of land and give them what to work and give them things. But suppose, yes, you give the man who have decided to rob you. Give them. But suppose you go back to rob again and kill again. Would you give him a life sentence, or are you going to get some rifle and shot him right between the 2 eyes?
No, the process will be brought to bear on the situation as the need arises.
But
if somebody
man say want money, you take him money, want education and give him to school and whatever. And you give him money, still go back and do the same thing. What they expect the government to do? Whoever rules, we're not going to have the guts to do it.
We're up on a break. Just a moment, please.
Okay.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high-quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3 o'clock.
Hardware shoppers, Stewart's Hardware is at it again. Monday, December 12th and Tuesday, December 13th. Enjoy 2 whole days of super savings, huge discounts, and more. Plus, you don't have to come in store. Simply request a quote from our website at stewartshardware.com or send us a message on WhatsApp, Facebook, or Instagram with your order, name, and contact information, and we will process your order during the sale days. We're always giving the best value. At Stewart's Hardware, the customer comes first.
Are you a member of the Trelawney Cooperative Credit Union? If you are, listen up. We're pleased to announce that our permanent shares have been increased to $1,100 and voluntary shares to $500. All members are encouraged to come in and make direct payments to satisfy the minimum share requirement. Remember, your permanent shares represents members' part ownership or equity in the credit union. It entitles you to dividends once we make a profit, and it increases the credit union's capital to expand and improve member services. Members who do not make a direct payment by June 30, 2023 to satisfy the minimum share, the required sum of $1,100 will be transferred from your deposit account. Start a habit today and save the Trelawney Cooperative Credit Union way.
Faith Frequency blazes on a higher level this Saturday to present Faith Frequency hits of the decades. 90s and 2000 music will be blazing from 9 p.m. to midnight with music mixes by Bloodlines, DJ Franco, Don't Believe, and Kimar Genius. Non-stop musical hits all night. Party with your host Talia while you show off your Smirnoff vodka mixes in our VIP Zoom Watch Yourself area, or tune in live on Fame 95 FM, Hits 92 FM, and RETV online at One Spot Media and on Mixcloud at Fame Frequency. Rep your era. 90s versus 2000, a battle of the decades. That's Fame Frequency Saturday, December 10, powered by Smirnoff Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly. See you there.
Day 1. Dear Nuala, thank you very much for your lovely present of a partridge in a pear tree. We're getting the hang of feeding the partridge now, although it was difficult at first to win its confidence. It bit the mother rather badly in the hand, but they're good friends now, and we're keeping the pear tree indoors in a bucket. Thank you again. Yours affectionately, Gobnet O'Lunacy. Day 2. Dear Nuala, I cannot tell you how surprised we were to hear from you so soon again, and to receive your lovely present of 2 turtle doves. You really are too kind. At first, the partridge was very jealous and suspicious of the doves, and they had a terrible row on the night the doves arrived. We had to send for the vet. But the birds are okay again, and the stitches is due to come out in a week or 2. The vet's bill was £8, but the mother is over her annoyance now, and the doves and the partridge are watching the telly from the pear tree as I write. Yours ever, Gobnet. Day 3. Dear Nuala, we must be foremost in your thoughts. I had only posted my letter when the 3 French hens arrived. There was another sort out between the hens and the doves, who sided with the partridge, and the vet had to be sent for again. The mother was raging because the bill was £16 this time, but she has almost cooled down. However,
thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-346. Let's continue and go with some of the other messages that have been coming in now. You know how much we value your messages. After all, you take the time to call. But first, here's a call from Sean. Good afternoon, Sean.
Good afternoon, Uncle Dervan, Malcolm. How are you doing, sir?
I'm giving thanks for life. And you?
I'm great so far. I'm calling to say hi to you guys. My mind just running on you guys. I just decided that I want to call in and say hi to you guys. Uncle Dervan, I have one last thing to talk about before I go. It's the most wonderful time of the year. The Christmas season is coming up. But seriously, Uncle Dervan, every Christmas season you hear car crashes always happen. Why these people don't be careful when they are on the road? What is wrong with them?
Well, unfortunately, the technology has its pluses and its minuses, and now more than ever we are distracted by the technology. So a lot of the times we're scrolling through our phones while we're driving. We are watching football and whatever else on our phones while we're driving. We are eating and driving. We are doing all kinds of things. But now more than ever, with the technology, we have become more engrossed and more distracted. And therefore, by our reaction time is reduced because we are busy doing something else. I saw a crash this afternoon on the way to work, and it was just, it was a what was it, 2 vehicles? Yes.
Seriously though, these people must be really careful on the road. Why are they giving away their life? Why they have to drink and drive at the same time and talk on the mobile device? Seriously though, what they are going on with them?
Well, you know, some of us as Jamaicans like to talk about we can hold with liquor. That's one of the lines that they use. We can. Everybody knows that we can hold my liquor. So the thinking is, no matter how much I drink, I will still be sober, which evidence suggests otherwise.
You guys have any problem when I just say the word what the hell a while ago, or it's okay on here?
Well, that's done and dusted. There is nothing obscene about the use of that word.
Okay, I understand. But what they need to do is please be careful. I'm very disappointed in them. They need to slow down on the road. Take their time when they are driving. Don't give away life. Their life is more important than the driving. That's why people must always wear a seatbelt when they are driving to keep them safe.
Yes, we hear you.
Yes. Thank you for having me on your program all the time, guys. Season's greetings to you guys when it's coming up this Christmas season. Have a Merry Christmas when it comes, guys, and a Happy New Year. Thank you for having your program all the time, my brother. I love you, my brother. When I say I love you, my brother, I mean in a badly religious way.
You don't need to apologize or put in a disclaimer. It is what it is. You have said what you have said. Thank you very much for the call. Take care.
Yes.
Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story. Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. And just a couple of stories that are trending right now. Let's see if we can share them with you. Two teens charged with murder of 16-year-old Tiwan Allen in downtown Kingston. That's one of the stories trending right now. Two teenagers have been charged with the November 29 killing of 16-year-old Tiwan Allen in North Parade, Kingston. Charged with murder is 18-year-old Chevon Lawrence of Luke Lane, Kingston. He's jointly charged with a 15-year-old boy. A release from the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Unit says Tiwan and the 15-year-old boy allegedly had a dispute. The 15-year-old, along with Lawrence, allegedly later attacked Tiwan and stabbed him several times. Tiwan was pronounced dead at hospital. The police were summoned and the attackers taken into custody. They were both charged following the recording of witness statements as well as caution statements, which they gave. Their court date is being arranged. This is the thing. I don't want to speak to a specific case or a specific situation, but there are so many stories like these of people just being unable to resolve their issues, whatever matters of concern they have, whatever the situation between themselves and others, just an inability to reason, to think, to rationalize, to be logical. to manage themselves. It's quite a challenge, it seems. Here, it's not unique to here in Jamaica. And of course, this is the place we know. But we get stories from James in East London of stabbings in the UK every single day. Every single day. So it's I don't know, it's a global thing, it seems. Individuals not being able to resolve whatever issues they're having, not able to resolve peacefully whatever issues they're having. Most unfortunate. Most unfortunate. Here's a call coming through on our text line, which doubles as our WhatsApp number. Hello, good afternoon. Would you like to be on air?
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon. I'm just confirming, first of all, that you okay, good. Good afternoon. Yes. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. You know, distracted driving is causing lots of people their lives. And the only funny part, not really funny, but part about it is that not only the driver that is losing his life, he's taking other people's life with him also.
True.
Talking on the phone, that's one of the big fines in Canada. If you get caught on your phone, it's a big charge.
In fact, I'm trying to remember what our new Road Traffic Act says in that regard, whether we're allowed to use the earpieces or as they say, hands-free. I'm trying to remember what the act says. I need to refresh my memory.
Yes, we are allowed to use the hands-free.
Oh.
Lots of the vehicles coming now equipped with hands-free. So once the person calls you, you can answer it automatically.
Yes.
Or you can press the button and you answer your phone, and you can talk on the phone while driving. But
that is true. That used to be the case in my vehicle as well. I'm not sure what has happened. It hasn't happened in a while. Yes.
This have to reprogram. Sometimes they go off and they just have to reprogram it.
Yes.
Yes. I was at the stoplight this morning, and the light changing. And can you think a taxi man come from behind me and come right around and go through the red light?
Nasty habit. I've seen it so many times. It's a nasty habit.
Man, I tell you, it shocks me because it's some youth that I know them.
Hello? Hello? Think we lost him. Is he still there? Hello? Hello? All right. Please call us back if you're listening now to the radio or whatever other device you have. Please call us back. Sorry, the call got, well, the line went dead. And although there was an indication that the connection was still flowing, apparently not. Please call us again. Your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Cleaners website, go-jamaica.com. James in East London has sent us, there's something here that is quite useful. All right, we're going to put James from East London on pause just for a moment because there are some stories that where is it now? All right, let's go to this one here. Oh, let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
The craziest sale on all goods in store is at ENR Hardware. Enjoy discounts on items such as paints, toilets, doors, and tiles until December 10. You can't afford to miss this sale. ENR Hardware is your place to go for comfortable shopping and a friendly staff. Call 876-988-7485, 876-988-0977, or WhatsApp 876-236-5078. Visit lots 16 and 17 Portmore Town Center. With over 40 years of record service, Lock Safe and Vault Limited is your trusted security provider. Get affordable prices on a wide variety of seals, garage doors, access control supplies, magnetic lock, fingerprint, weatherproof keypads, card access system, time attendants, power supplies, and exit buttons. Professional services provided. Visit 40 Shortwood Road, Kingston 8. Problem solved with Lock Safe and Vault.
There's a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with only approximately 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people do not participate in a formal pension plan, such as contract workers and the self-employed, and some are not eligible for a government pension. Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement. Join Real Business every Monday at 9:30 a.m. for an informative discussion with Peter Rose Hall, Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement wealth creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher.
Oh, look what I say. Day 11. You have scandalized my mother, you dirty Jezebel. It was bad enough to have 8 maids of milk and dancing to punk music on the front lawn. But they've now been joined.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, on this International Anti-Corruption Day. A good time to highlight the fact that, according to the Jamaica-Gleaner.com website, the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP, has rolled out new online tools. New online tools have been rolled out in a push for a greater level of transparency. And the news is that the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP, has added a national budget tool and a procurement tracker to its suite of online offerings aimed at promoting public engagement in holding elected government officials accountable. The project was funded by the European Union with co-financing from the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, UK Aid, and the Open Society Foundations. JAMP Executive Director Jeanette Calder said that Jamaica's national budget is the family budget, and though the Finance Ministry has always made it available, it is predominantly a technical document that was not put together with the average Jamaican in mind. JAMP's website has an explanatory video on the 4 stages of Jamaica's budget cycle, as well as charts and an interactive tool to allow citizens to examine how the government gets and spends revenue. The data cover the current and previous financial years, and Calder said that in time, trend data for 5 years will become available. The executive director shared that the government has a database available on a website which details contracts for a 14-year period, but noted that the average citizen would not be able to manipulate it. The procurement tracker gives access to a database of more than 179,000 public contracts and awarded between April 2006 and September 2020, valued at more than $800 billion, and allows users to see trends and patterns of how public funds flow to private entities. It's the age for this. We need to get with it and identify the tools that help us to hold our representatives accountable. Thank you, Jeanette Calder and the team from Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal. Let's go to Verol, who is right here in Jamaica. Good afternoon, Verol. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I got disconnected.
Oh, that was you on the other
Yes.
line. Okay.
Yeah, that was me. I can be corrected, but Mr. Malcolm, I think we started with 12 points on our license. And it depends on your charges. Sometimes you lose 2, sometimes you lose 4. And when that 12 points is all gone, you have no license. I heard of taximen with 100 and odd tickets. No, that's... I don't understand how the system works. It looks like you can get as much ticket as possible as you want, and don't even have to pay them.
Yes, apparently there are several moving parts when it comes to the traffic ticketing system and related matters. And what is required is a synergistic approach. The process has to be synergized. It has to be set up in such a way where all the moving parts do what they are supposed to do. If that doesn't happen, then you're going to have a breakdown at some point or another, at one point or another, and you will not be able to detect those who are in breach and are to be penalized versus those who are not in breach. So there's a lot of work apparently that needs to be done, and I don't get the impression that work has started yet.
I know, definitely. We have to have a system that really works, you know?
Yes, for sure.
If it's there and it's not working, then it's of no effect.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was my final point, you know?
Well,
just
thank
want
you.
to know if there's a point system where you can lose your license,
there
your
is
license being suspended,
yes,
and then it takes time for you to regain those points. Because
yes,
what happens after we lose so much points off our license, and you drive for a certain period of time, over a period of time without no accident, no speeding ticket, no running the red light, then you start to gain those points back and you go back to your maximum.
yeah,
But if you continue to break the law, then your license is going to be suspended
that's right.
after you lose those
A
points.
certain number of points, yes.
Yes. Take care, Mr. Dervan. You have a nice day and keep up the good work.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
Okay, blessings.
This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 876-922-4112 Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us via WhatsApp. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. There are a couple other stories we wanted to just touch on briefly, just in case you've been busy and too busy to pay attention to the news. Just sharing with you a couple of items. Trelawney housekeeper charged after being spotted with stolen bag. A 20-year-old housekeeper has been charged with housebreaking and larceny after he was spotted in Falmouth, Trelawney, wearing a stolen bag more than a month after the theft. He has been identified as Joel Parkinson of Greenside District in Falmouth. The police say a man reportedly locked his house and left for work on October 31st, but on returning home, he discovered that his house was broken into and several items were missing, including US and Jamaican cash and a brown Jeep crossbody bag. A report was made to the police. The police say on Wednesday, December 7, Parkinson was seen by a neighbor in Falmouth with a brown Jeep crossbody bag. He was apprehended by residents and handed over to the police. Parkinson gave a caution statement to the police, admitting to the crime, and was subsequently charged. And let's leave that there for the time being and go to another call. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Dervan.
Good afternoon again.
Yeah, I was talking to you and I hold on went to a break and it kind of other people talking. I was listening to what they were saying on my phone. I didn't understand.
I don't understand either.
You keep me back?
No, that I'm not sure what went wrong there. Sincerest apologies.
Yeah, okay. I was all right. I was saying to you that if you give people the so-called criminal and who they would be criminal and give them what they want, give them everything, and they still go around and do the same thing over and over again. What? Because the sentences are too light, like this man who killed somebody, so you can get 4 years.
Well, I don't know what the current rate of recidivism. That's a word that refers to the rate at which those incarcerated and are released commit other crimes and are re-incarcerated. So that is called recidivism, 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 recidivism. Yes.
You know, this happened in the 50s. When I was that young, I could be in the late 50s or early 60s when I was a young one. We hide away and went to a jukebox. I put the money in the jukebox and you get 4 records and so forth. What it was? You put a shilling, get 4 records. Anyway, some dispute, look at this dispute here. And I saw a guy drink a beer, broke the bottle, but put the bottle on the wall, knocked the bottle on the wall and broke out the bottle. And he went and I saw when it happened. He stabbed back guy in his belly, in his stomach, right down there. And he went to prison. And at that time it was lash in and lash out. Are you listening to me?
Yes, man. They would get whipped going into prison and whipped coming out of prison.
And when he returned from prison, he told us young guys, I would have me, but who were in the area, I could listen to him. He said, listen, he said, don't go to prison. Don't go there. And he described everything up. And he described everything and said, they put them over a drum. They died on a drum. And they were turned up in the air. And when they give him a lash, they put a hole in the barrel so they could urinate and the urine come out and go down in the barrel. The barrel go horizontal. And when they describe the punishment, you see? Let me tell you that. Every young boy in the area who would listen to him, he talk to him and he listen to him. Don't go to prison. No matter what prison go drink Hennessy, big phone, come to the prime minister, they drink Hennessy and live big. And so when 20 people talk to me right now, they don't care. They will kill you and don't care. Right, man? So, listen, man, something I have to be done about this same Jamaica here. I remember in the 70s, 80s, when all of us used to pay $8,000 and get a trip to Miami. Sometimes you have all 2 tickets. I can't see what they are doing and you go down, come back and go bed tonight, last flight tonight. And by tomorrow you come back up with your business and buy and I can't see what to do. I want to look at it, tourists. It's a legion by Mantico Bay. I see the amount of tourists and travelers to Jamaica. And other airlines. You tell them, man. You say, where do I go? And sometimes you see them they are on the aircraft and they kind of, when they drink the road tape and then drunk from the aircraft. When they're drunk, feel good. And all them Peter Petra and music that play. And the man, they love Jamaica. And I tell you,
so sorry, would love to hear the conclusion of your thoughts, but we have to break now. We actually have a feature.
And the people love Jamaica, they love it so much. And it's good for all of us. And see that America put out travel advice this morning, said American, Canada.
Hold the line, please. One moment.
Help us protect. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. You don't have anything? Okay. Yeah, apparently it has been changed to now. Yeah, yeah. So it's pre-recorded. Okay. Yeah. The madness continues. Hmm? Oh, the fellow there. So they're doing it live then. Oh.
and visit their website at allmighthystudios.com. The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, providing medical care for function and performance in association with Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging, Immune Active Denk, a combination of key active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense, and Almighty Studios, a recording studio where they create worship music to praise, to worship, and to serve, presents Rehabilitation Now, a 15-minute feature on physical medicine and for persons who have pain and dysfunction from physical injuries and disease. We now join Alicia Taylor, host, and Dr. Paula Dawson, consultant physiatrist and rehabilitation physician from the Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean.
Welcome to another episode of Rehab Now with consultant physiatrist Dr. Paula Dawson, our rehabilitation medical doctor, and I'm your host, Alicia Taylor. Hi, Doc.
Alicia.
Hello, listeners. Today, we have another physiatrist in the building. Well, not in the physical building, but still in the building. And I'm excited to have with us Dr. Earl Smith. And Earl Smith is a physiatrist at the James J. Peters Bronx VA Medical Center in Bronx, New York. He's also volunteer faculty at Mount Sinai in
Manhattan in
That's
New
right,
York.
Doc. That's right. So he comes to us thanks to Dr. Paula Dawson, who did a rotation during her training at Mount Sinai School of Medicine, where Dr. Smith was a resident physician. Hello, Doc.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Smith, long time.
Dr. Dawson.
Awesome. So today we talk about regenerative medicine. And our specialist, Dr. Smith, is going to tell us a little bit about regenerative medicine.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you about this new, old field of medicine. It's been around for decades, and some people would argue longer, of regenerative medicine is ways, different methods to stimulate the body to use its own healing processes to restore, rejuvenate, regrow tissues which have been damaged through trauma or disease or the passage of time. Mm-hmm. And it's a new field of medicine because back only a few years ago when Paula and I were in medical school, we were taught that stem cells, which are the universal mother cell for all types of tissue in the body, but we were taught that stem cells, once you were born, were over by age 2. And since then, in the last few years, it's a big difference. I mean, stem cells are over. But now we know that stem cells persist into adulthood. Yes, younger stem cells are better than an older person's stem cells, but they are still present in everybody. And that's just a fancy way of saying that what we were taught about certain types of tissue, once it's gone, is not necessarily true. We know that you can grow new brain cells, which is against conventional teaching. We know that you can grow new kidney cells, and for Paul and I, things like new connective tissue, like cartilage and ligaments, can be regrown. Common sense. I always had difficulty in medical school accepting, but I tried to memorize it for the test. That cartilage, once it's gone, it's gone. They would emphasize that again and again. Nephrons, which is the kidney cell, once they're gone, they're gone. cardiac cells. Once they're gone, they're gone. I saw a 75-year-old man get up out of bed, and brushing his teeth was hard work for him. His heart was so bad. But after a year, he could walk 100 yards. It took him 10 minutes, but he could walk. And the same, 100 yards in 10 minutes. The same thing with cartilage. If you look at, like, imagine this is your knee. Sorry, I don't have a better model, but imagine this is your knee. It's a hinge, and there's a little spongy layer of cartilage in there. Well, it just doesn't make sense that that same layer of cartilage, from a common sense point of view, would last you 410, right? 410 being 90 years. It doesn't make good sense. So, in fact, there are cells inside the knee growing cartilage, nourishing the old cells, and you can regenerate cartilage. And I started studying regenerative medicine in 2019, and that was the same year that some scientists at University of California, I forget which campus, they regrew mouse cartilage in a lab mouse. So it's kind of nice to have that scientific validation that mammals can regrow cartilage. Another reason that conventional thinking, and we are standing on the shoulders of greats, it's true, but a lot of our knowledge is inherited from the generation before us, from the generation before them, etc. And some of the things that were laid down in the 1700s and 1800s were wrong. One of them being that nerve tissue, once it's damaged, is gone forever. That's wrong. So if you have diabetes or chemotherapy, and suddenly your feet are on fire, you cannot feel the floor, you were told. And when I was in training, and when Paul and I were in training, oh, it's too bad. Your nerves are damaged, and that is forever. That's a pity. So now we know that the nerves are there and sometimes can be restored. So the treatments I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about the very beginning one that I learned, and then maybe on another day we'll talk about some of the more exotic things. And there is a Jamaica connection there, but I'm going to save it for another day. The primary one I'm going to talk to you about is subcutaneous, which means under the skin. Subcutaneous means under the skin. Injections of dextrose, dilute dextrose or sugar water. And it sounds like, what's this man selling? Sugar water to calm down inflammation along the course of a nerve, along the course of a limb, and restore function in that limb. The science is most advanced for knees, and I'll send you the link from my YouTube. Do a series of subcutaneous injections around the knee, and help the patient to heal old scar tissue and regrow new connective tissue and improve their physical function while decreasing their pain at a much greater reduction in cost, much lower cost than any other type of injection, and certainly much lower cost than surgery.
So, Dr. Smith, this is actually news to Alicia's ear because she doesn't like arthritis.
I hate it.
So, telling her that you can do something to help the cartilage to regenerate is
it's just fantastic.
It's good news.
Because I mean, as you said, they tell us that there's just no hope, and then you stay there with pain all the days of your life, and that's just the worst thing.
Absolutely, and it's true at all ranks of society. There's professional athletes who depend on their body's physical function who are told the same thing. And Paul and I were on spinal cord injury together. We were studying spinal cord injury together when there was a research project injecting stem cells into human beings' spines to see if we could encourage neurons to regrow, because they have so much inflammation in scar tissue. And then you have to remember, go back to your Greek, arthritis. Is arthrosis, joint, and itis means inflammation. You can have sinusitis, you can have gingivitis, you can have belly, you can have appendicitis.
Wow.
And now in your knee, you have arthritis or another joint, which is fire. Itis means it's on fire or inflammation. And so we're talking about inflammation is a good thing. You got trauma or a wound or an infection. You want to send in some your body's forces to burn out the badness, and then some sort of measured process, the burning or inflammation goes down. Inflammation is a good thing to destroy bacteria and viruses. But it can spin out of control and cause damage to you. It becomes too much. And then it blocks healing eventually. And that's what's happening in nerves and joints. The chronic inflammation from injury is preventing the body's healing processes from moving forward. Mm-hmm. So you can't see your knee from here, but I imagine that you have a little bit of water on the knee. If you go down to the little indentations, the divots underneath your knee, you press on one, the other one will bulge out water. Mm-hmm. And that's because the knee is in a bag of connective tissue. I call it transmission fluid for the knee. And trauma that's happening at the front by your kneecap is actually bulging out the back, where it's only soft tissue and the blood vessels. Mm-hmm. So what we do in clinic is we ask the patient where it hurts and kind of move their knees around to see if we can feel and hear any grinding, which should not be present, or any clicking. And then we choose injection sites based on that. And specifically, not just the area of injury, but we treat the nerves which are flowing to and from that area. Mm-hmm. So common injury would be the meniscus on the middle side of the knee is common. So we feel that, see if it's hot, and see if it's clicking. And if the patient tells us it locks up sometimes. And then we go up the middle of the thigh, following the path of what's called the obturator nerve, following the path of the nerve, which is controlling those muscles and carrying the pain signal from the joint on that part of the knee. And we treat the course of the nerve as well as the injured site, because the nerve is inflamed also. And it can be, we palpate the course of the nerve, we've studied the anatomy, we know where to look for where the nerve is injured, and we press there and see if it's painful. And if it is, we treat that nerve. And then we go to the other side of the knee, we go to the back of the knee, and then after we've treated all the stuff on the outside of the knee, the patients will say, "Oh, it's good. The bottom of the kneecap feels better. The middle of the knee feels better." But when I stand up deep inside, I can't tell you where it is. Then I have pain there also. This happened to me twice in the year before lockdown. And I said, "Okay," and went to books and said, "Okay, sounds like the ACL PCL complex, which is the tendons inside the knee that are famous for being difficult to heal."
Cruciate ligaments.
Cruciate ligament, the ACL PCL complex. And so I went to the table and looked at what innervates those ligaments. And it's the tibial nerve. So where's the tibial nerve? It runs down the back of the calf along the Achilles tendon. And we palpated and found the painful points there and injected them with sugar water, with the dextrose, spatted dextrose, and healed the inflammation in the nerve there. And then I went to the sciatic nerve, which gives rise to the tibial nerve, and I found a couple more points. And all of these points are in Moore's textbook and Moore's Atlas of Anatomy. They're in Netter's Atlas of Anatomy, but we are not taught these points because there's just too many. There's too much to learn. And the clinical significance of these compression injuries in the nerves was not understood. But if you go back, you can find these things in the anatomy textbook from the 1840s. So, and they're in the pictures in Moore's and Netter's Atlases of Anatomy, but they're not labeled. So we found that, and I treated the sciatic nerve and the tibial nerve, and I had him stand up, and he's doing a half squat for me, pain-free, immediately.
Wow.
Like minutes. And the other thing that's very gratifying is you can see fluid or water or edema or swelling, water on the knee, around the knee, go, and it compresses right down, and you can start to see the contour of the kneecap, for example. This patient has had surgery already. We also treat any inflammation inside the scar that could be causing problems. And when patients can see for themselves when the scar fades away, that gives them confidence that inside healing is occurring.
Yeah.
And we go through the whole molecular biology stuff, which I sort of my eyes glaze over when I get too deep. The healing is occurring. The connective tissue is healing. Okay.
Wow.
Another day I'll teach you the cytokines and interleukins, but not today. And so it can be done like that. That's the most established. Another point that is established, and it was published in the Proceedings of the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and is now if you go to the textbook of internal medicine, which is the Bible of medicine, the chapter on neuropathy or nerve disease, neuros is the nerve and pathos is the disease or suffering. The suffering of the nerves chapter, neuropathy, has a supplement on how to use this technique to treat carpal tunnel syndrome. And that's where the first 3 fingers are weak and painful sometimes. And it's mostly due to a compression of the nerve that flows to these fingers as it goes through the wrist. Conventional thing we do would be to have a surgery here, or maybe inject a steroid here and relieve the inflammation right there where the nerve is most compressed. What they have done in this proceedings of the Mayo Clinic is they look at the course of the nerve all the way through the arm, through the armpit, and up to the neck. And we look, where could it be compressed? And they found points here and here, above and below the ligamentous struthers, and here, above and below the pronator teres. Just 0.5 milliliter of 5% dextrose, 1, 2, 3, 4 at each of these sites. And the patient is like this. And they go, oh, and they're like this. To see an 85-year-old man feel my fingers for the first time.
That's amazing.
It gives you goosebumps, right? I've got goosebumps right now.
That's incredible. But yeah, so okay. No, and without surgery. Can't believe it. I'm so excited. I'm very excited to hear all of this. But you know, we actually have to take a quick break. I'm so sorry. When we get back, please need you to continue. Stay with us. So we're back with Rehab now. If you're just joining us, we have our special guest, Dr. Earl Smith. He is a physiatrist, and we're talking about regenerative medicine. Yes. Before the break, we were talking about dextrose prolotherapy. Yeah, man, we get that right. Right? But what I want to know, why don't we use these techniques now? Why would it feel as if it's falling into disuse, you know?
Well, regenerative medicine was historically rejected as impossible. Okay. Once these tissues were damaged, they couldn't be fixed. You just had to cut it out or replace it. And there's in terms of the established practices, corticosteroid injections do work well at relieving pain, even though we know a year later the people who got nothing are better off than the ones who got a steroid injection, perhaps. And also the big drug manufacturers and device manufacturers in the United States are very powerful politically. And they drive a lot of policy decisions in Washington, which the United States leads the world. And the rest of the world has to follow Washington. And that's why, unfortunately, most of the techniques in regenerative medicine that actually work are done overseas. They're done in countries of Eastern Europe. They're done in the Middle East. And that's where we go to get a lot of the information on how to do these things, especially because so there's political forces in Washington and also in the United States. If you depart from what most of the doctors are doing, that anything goes wrong, you have set yourself up for a lawsuit in the United States, because this country has frivolous lawsuits and even serious lawsuits are more serious than in other countries. But there's also the teaching historically was this could not be reversed. If that doctor says he's actually reversing these impossible conditions, he's lying to you. And that is somewhat established when I tell people that I'm reversing inflammation to treat a lot of different diseases. They don't believe me. I'll just tell you, you can ask me questions for clarity if you want. An exuberant response of the body to any insult, trauma, or disease, or infection rather, is the cause of every illness, whether it's cancer or dementia or diabetes. You can point to every single illness in the body and you can find inflammation as the root cause.
Wow. So tell me something, could these replace the usual treatment?
That's a very good question. I believe that just treating inflammation alone to help the body do its own healing processes is not enough. You are not going to set a broken bone with only calming down the inflammation, the heat, and the pain and the swelling. You can control the heat and the pain and the swelling, and then the surgeon can come in and put the broken bone back together. You can help the patient be pain-free. Same thing with gum disease. I can put techniques onto my face to heal pain where I have a bad tooth, but I still need an oral surgeon to take out the bad tissue and put a pin in. So it's just an adjunct. And then another reason why this was not more established so far is because a lot of the newer techniques are better. Until the 1930s, the average life expectancy in the United States was 35, 40 years. And that's because a simple case of pneumonia could carry off and kill a 25-year-old man. And now, pneumonia is trivial. You're 80 years old, you go to your family doctor, he says, take this prescription of Augmentin or penicillins or whatever it is for 10 days, and you're fine. But until antibiotics came along, pneumonia was a lethal illness. Now it's a casual illness. And these things are better. Now, if you have pneumonia scar tissue in your lungs and you're coughing, maybe decreasing inflammation will help you heal, help your bronchitis. If you've had a broken bone and the bone's now set, it's still going to be painful for a long time. How long? Ask me in 20 years and I will know how long your broken bone is going to hurt you. I won't know 5 years have passed, okay? But we can control the pain and speed the healing along using various techniques. And I'm so excited because the dextrose injections led me, as a scholar, I'm not a researcher, I'm a reader, as a scholar to learn a whole bunch of more things that you would not believe from real information. But I will tell you that menthol, like you find in Vicks Vapor Rub, or capsaicin, like is in a jalapeno chili pepper, or when you stubbed your toe and your mommy said, rub it. Yeah. She was correct. And the Nobel Prize Committee awarded the 2021 Nobel Prize in Medicine to the scientists, doctors who discovered the receptors in the nervous system for menthol, capsaicin, and for pressure. Nobel Prize winning medicine for things that our mothers have been teaching us for over a century.
Years. Yes. Amazing. Right. Now, tell me why do corticosteroid injections continue to be so popular?
This is a very, very touchy subject.
I use a lot of corticosteroid. We all do.
Yeah.
Also, one patient came in and said to me, I don't do steroid injections. I said to him, he says, my wife is on hospice and I need to be able to care for her. Fix my knee pain. I gave him a corticosteroid injection. It works. The Olympic athletes who need to get up on that pole vault and do a tumble onto a broken ankle, they'll get a corticosteroid injection for short-term gain. But overall...
Just to stick a pin there, Earl, they just in 2021, January, the World Anti-Doping, they've actually changed the steroid regulation. So before you could do steroid out of competition, they've now changed that. So you can still do it, but you have a longer washout period. So you have to do it, depending on the type of steroids, you have to do it a few months or weeks ahead, so it's washed out of the system. So you can't do steroid in competition. You'll be sanctioned.
Right. So just mask and injury, that's good. It's protecting the athlete. That's a good thing.
Correct.
You're a sports medicine, so you're more ahead of me. Right. Well, the reason I don't like corticosteroids is because if you're diabetic, they will bump your blood sugars. They will soften your connective tissue everywhere in your body, not just the joint concern. Why do they continue to be so popular is because they are the accepted mode of practice. And there are a few people for whom nothing else will work. They don't. I have injected a few patients with corticosteroid injections in order to loosen a frozen joint. You want the connective tissue softened up. So frozen shoulder is the most common in a senior citizen. Maybe they broke the arm and they were in a sling for a while, and now the shoulder can't move. It lost range of motion. I had another patient who was a nurse who grabbed a falling patient, tore her rotator cuff, and she could not raise her arm. But she was adamant that she did not want corticosteroid injections, and I was like, I was in a really hard place. She could not move her arm high enough because the connective tissue in her underarm was so constrained that she had to get her sister's help to get dressed in the morning. But we continued. She continued therapy, and we continued with subcutaneous dextrose injections, and now she has normal range of motion. And the orthopedic surgeon wrote in her chart, she received a series of injections from Dr. Smith that healed her rotator cuff. But it took a year. It took a long, long time. And sometimes we don't have time to waste, especially for a senior citizen with frozen shoulder. I had another gentleman with frozen knee. And he'd been in bed bound for some other reason for so long that his tendons were all contracted around his knee. So I loosened him up that way, got him better range of motion, did not have to sedate him and break through the restrictions in his connective tissue. We just loosened him up with steroids, and then we started the dextrose prolotherapy. He is my miracle patient.
Wow.
Because with subcutaneous injections, he was loud and blustery and hard of hearing. I didn't know that he had tinnitus. I didn't know he had ringing in his ear. He was very dramatic and yelling at everybody, and not in an unpleasant way, but just in your face. And it took 8 months, a long time, of subcutaneous injections. And then he disappeared for a couple of months, and he came back, and his gray hair had turned black.
Okay. What?
I know a lot of people want to hear more about that.
Okay. Guys, I've treated hundreds of people over the last few years, and 3 of them had such horrific pain, horrible, horrible pain that we can't imagine. And they just they just kept walking. They just kept moving. You know, some people were taken to the sofa and died, and these people just kept moving. But when you have pain, imagine you stub your toe, your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, you start to sweat, and the injury was down in your toe. So imagine that as non-stop knee pain that every step you take, when you turn over in bed, you wake up with pain, everything. You're scared when strangers come close to you. If that shopping cart comes close to you, you're terrified. Imagine that level of pain. It's making your heart race. It is keeping adrenaline flowing all the time. Your hands are cold and clammy because of adrenaline. And your hair follicles, your hair is falling out and turning gray. Your body is in a state of stress. Constant fight or flight mechanism. So I've got 3 patients out of hundreds. So this is not a typical result. It's a happy result for these people who, when I controlled the pain was in their arms or in their knees, their gray hair turned black.
Interesting you said that. Because we always saw where presidents, won't call any president, they're going to office with black hair, and then after a few months, they get gray hair.
The president is on the clock 24/7. He's woken up every half hour to make a life-changing decision for somebody else. That's very, very stressful if you're doing it right. And but that's an example of how stress will age you. And the president is so stressed out, he's in a constant state of inflammation. And that is why when you see people, when they retire, suddenly the wrinkles would melt out of their faces, right? Enough sleep. You look at the top models, Claudia Schiffer, for example. She says she looks fabulous because she sleeps 12 hours a day. She's doing everything.
Wow, I need to do that.
Well enough.
My facelift.
And organic food. And we hear this all the time when people go back, immigrants to the United States go back to the country of origin, and they say, my pain got better. It's because I'm eating natural food. They decrease inflammation that way. Or they're sleeping more when they're on vacation. Or they're walking more or something. Anything to decrease inflammation will decrease your pain. PTSD and stress and anxiety, they're all related to inflammation. The neurologists, the brain doctors, are now studying Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease, inflammation. So if you eat more fresh fruits and yogurt, you'll have less inflammation. If you eat more fried food and pepperoni pizza and diet soda, your Parkinson's will accelerate.
Okay, got it.
These patients whose gray hair turned black, I've had maybe 3 or 4 out of hundreds who I learned that diet is important. Here in the United States, we're in the concrete jungle. In New York, we're in the concrete jungle. You can't find fresh fruit to eat sometimes, decent quality. You go to the store and you buy a piece of balsa wood that looks like a peach and is not good tasting.
Yeah.
I've got patients who I give vitamin C and vitamin D to, and tell them to have some fish oil, eat some seaweed, eat some seafood, and then come back in 2 months. I found that I can't just jump in with the injections. The body can't heal without good starting material.
Yeah. Wow.
So I tell them, go and come back in 2 months when you load up in vitamin C and vitamin D, and we'll do the injections. And some of them come back and say, I have no more pain. My shoulder pain is gone since I changed my life, since I changed my diet.
No more pain. Thank you so very much, Dr. Earl.
Oh, there's so much more to say.
I know, but we're out of time. We're out of time completely. So thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Earl. Thank you, Dr. Dawson. Thank you to the studio engineers and our producers, Power 106. That's all we have time for. Rehabilitation Institute, located at Suite 280 Ligani Post Mall. That's all we have time for. Thank you. Goodbye. Blessings.
Blessings.
Thank you. You too.
Winchester MRI Limited, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging, is conveniently located at the Winchester Surgical and Medical Center. Our board-certified radiologists provide affordable, high-quality MRI services. We're open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays, and 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sundays. Call 906-159223 or visit 3A Winchester Road, Kingston. Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging.
Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, providing medical care for function and performance in association with Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging. Immune Active Denk, a combination of key active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense. And Almighty Studios, a recording studio where they create worship music to praise, to worship, and to serve, presents Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for people overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with host Alicia Taylor and rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson airs every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4:02 on Power 106.
Oh my recording studio where you go to make music, to praise, to worship, and to serve. State-of-the-art rehearsal and recording studio where you can have their skilled team do your mixing and mastering. They have the latest technology and experienced team to help you bring your music to life. Go and be inspired as you make worship music that's fit for the King of Kings. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Book your studio time 876-770-6282 and visit their website at allmightstudios.com.
Both sides of the story.
Do you have a title for your land? Are you thinking about buying or selling land? How much is your property worth? Tune in to Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for the NLA and You, a program that examines the National Land Agency's role in building an efficient and transparent land titling system for Jamaicans. That's the NLA and You on Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better.
Day 1. Dear Nola, thank you very much for your lovely present of a partridge in a pear tree. We're getting the hang of feeding the partridge now, although it was difficult at first to win its confidence. It bit the mother rather.
Que hora es en español? Las 4:04. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:04. 现在几点了？4:04. 4 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. It's a good time to check in with more, and there's more happening. So many things happening right now. Hold a moment there now. Netherlands 2, Argentina 2. What is this? Weghorst, Wout. Well, let's go. For Argentina, Molina Nahuel scored in the 35th minute. In the 73rd minute, Lionel Messi had a penalty kick and successfully put away that ball. And in the 83rd minute, and I haven't checked on the pronunciation of the name, but it looks like Weghorst Wout. Weghorst Wout. Weghorst. He scored in the 83rd minute. Looks like they have 10 minutes of time added on. 90 minutes played already. 10 minutes of time added on. And it's Argentina 2, Netherlands 2. It remains to be seen what will happen when the last whistle is blown. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Don't listen to the radio. If you do, you'll be confused. Listen to the phone.
Okay. Yes.
Go ahead, please.
I would like to talk to him off the air, please.
Who would you like to speak with?
Mr. Malcolm.
I'm on air now. If I talk to you now off air, then I won't be able to continue doing the program.
Mr. Malcolm.
Yes. All right. Hold the line, please. We'll take a number, a name and a number. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Let's clear some more messages. Velta Wilson in St. Thomas says, Friday blessings to you, Mr. Malcolm, and listeners. To you too, Velta Wilson. Eileen Budai, Mrs. Budai says, hi, Dervan, hope you're doing well. I'm fine, thanks, Mrs. Budai. Good to hear from you. She says, I'm still having problems getting Power 106 on both my phone and radio. This is not good at all. Missing my programs. Stay blessed. Well, we have shared your message with the Transmission Radio TV WhatsApp group here within the RGR Gleaner Communications group. But what is missing, Mrs. Budai, and you perhaps could take that into account when next you message us on these matters, what's missing are specific details in terms of where exactly are you, not in terms of your street address, not necessarily, but the general area in which you live. What's the name of that general area? And that information can help the engineers as well. And if you have information of, if you're able to say, to be a little more specific in terms of what are you hearing or not hearing? What is happening or not happening? If all of that is too much, then the most we can do is just to share the information from you with the engineers. But sorry to hear of the problems you've been having trying to listen to Power 106. Let's see who else is in the mix. Norman Hines in St. Thomas, good afternoon. Mikey D in London says, good evening, Mr. Malcolm. Blessings from London. Indeed, it's 9:09 in London right now in the evening. Thank you for your message, Mikey D. All the best. Dr. Sharon Wiles is traveling again. Where is she now? Let's tell you. She says, okay, getting sound now. She wasn't hearing earlier on. And then she goes French. I beg your pardon, Spanish. She says, saludos, Sir Dervan. Desde Valencia, España. ¿Podría usar algo de su español ahora? So she says she is in Valencia, España, Valencia in Spain. So she says hello in the first place. And then she says, Sir Dervan, I am essentially messaging you from Valencia, España, Valencia, Spain. And she's saying something to the effect that she could do well with some of my Spanish now. That's what she was saying, that she could do well with or use some of my Spanish right now. Uh, don't worry about it, Sharon Wiles, Dr. Sharon Wiles. Just check with the team of translators who work to facilitate translations online. Is a big one, and the everything is out there right now in terms of the various subjects, not least of all Spanish, the various languages. And once you have an idea of what you want to say, you put in the English and indicate that you want it to be translated, and the system will do the translation. So you start by translate "I love you," for argument's sake, and the system will do that. So use up the technology and practice the Spanish. If you have to speak it, then you might want to take note of the pronunciation, nuances, etc., and the different uh, let's see, there are the different accents. So whether Castilian or otherwise, main street Spain, so to speak. Yeah, they have quite a couple of, well, a few variations depending on where in the Spanish speaking world you are. Thank you for your message, though, Dr. Sharon Wiles. Alexander Taylor sends greetings from Spain as well. Thank you very much for keeping in touch, Alexander Taylor. Ricardo is in Glengough, St. Catherine. He says, congratulations to Brazil and congratulations to Croatia. Well, what's the latest now then? Let's give you the very latest in this encounter. Still going, the 93rd minute, which means another 7 minutes to go of time added on. And it's still 2-2. Netherlands 2, Argentina 2. Wonder how John is managing right now, because John is backing the Netherlands. And we want him to tell us why he's supporting the Netherlands. But he perhaps is quite focused now on the rest of this game. It's in the 94th minute right now. 4 of the 10 minutes of time added on having expired. And the scorers once again for Argentina, Molina Nahuel in the 35th minute. Lionel Messi, a 73rd minute penalty. And Weghorst Wout in the 83rd minute. In the meantime, we will see how it ends in the final analysis. Dr. Sharon Wiles says, that's what I have been using, sir, and it's working to get me around. Thank God. Very good. After all, the technology exists, and it brings us all a little closer when we're able to speak the language of our neighbors, whether in the Spanish-speaking region here in Latin America and the Caribbean or otherwise. It does make a difference. And there's no time like the present. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharon Wiles. Natalie Winter in Washington Gardens says, good afternoon, all from windy weather, Washington Gardens. Have a wonderful day. Same to you, Natalie Winter. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Poro 106 FM. The time is now
4:16.
At night, Rose Hall is not for the faint of heart. Tour Jamaica's oldest mansion, but with a twist. Feel the house come alive through an interactive tour and experience the true horrors of the White Witch of Rose Hall. Book the Haunted Night Tour at the Rose Hall Great House, Wednesdays to Saturdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 876-953-2323. The White Witch awaits.
RGD at your service will be in the United States at Exchange Park Recreation Center, 2771 Columbia Drive, Decatur, GA 334 in Atlanta, Georgia from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. They will be accepting applications for the following services: certificates for birth, death, marriage, and adoption, record of dating services such as correction of error, late entry of name, addition of father's particulars, late registration and re-registration, out-to-many search, formerly genealogy research, and registry wedding services.
Importers. The Jamaica Customs Agency is making its contactless clearance process for non-commercial shipments available until January 6, 2023. This will enable you to clear your cargo without having to visit a warehouse to do a physical inspection. Here are your options. You may request contactless clearance through your freight forwarder. Your freight forwarder may offer contactless clearance to you. Your agent will indicate if you've been selected under the contactless clearance process. Importers, use contactless clearance and avoid the wait. For further details, email contactlessclearance@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Faith Frequency blazes on a higher level this Saturday to present Faith Frequency hits of the decade. 90s and 2000 music will be blazing from 9 p.m. to midnight with music mixes by Bloodlines, DJ Franco, Don't Believe, and Kmart Genius. Non-stop musical hits all night. Party with your host Talia while you show off your Smirnoff vodka mixes in our VIP Zoom Watch Yourself area, or tune in live on Fame 95 FM, Kids 92 FM, and RETV online at One Spot Media and on Mixcloud at Fame Frequency. Rep your era, 90s versus 2000, a battle of the decades. That's Fame Frequency Saturday, December 10, powered by Smirnoff Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly. See you there.
You have ruined our lives. The 12 maidens dancing turned.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:19. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:19. 现在TTN 了10:19. 19 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? Yes, young people, we know it's a Friday, but you know what we always say, have some fun doing the homework now so you can have some more fun this weekend. How about that? And especially those of you who are doing end of term exams, we hope you get the results that you work for. Nothing more, nothing less. And as we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Continuing with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Hello to B. Jew in New York. She says, hi, Dervan. God bless to you too, B. Jew. And she's also wishing everybody happy holidays. We reciprocate wholeheartedly to you, Bijou, to Mr. B, and Jorvilia. How about that? Wonderful. Let's go down the line and give you another update here. Still 2-2, Netherlands versus Argentina in the 98th minute. I believe 2 more minutes of time added on are left. Let's see how it will finish. Bijou says thank you. Thank you too, Bijou. All the best. And keep those messages coming in. Here's one from Neville, otherwise known as Salah. He says, good afternoon, Dervan. The JLP need to go home. Andrew Holness needs to step aside. Holness doesn't have a clue. For 70 years until today's date, Holness still can't present a crime plan. The only plan is that at the unconstitutional SOEs, Salah from Kingston. Well, we've already addressed this matter of the so-called unconstitutional SOEs. And as we have said, if in fact that were so, somebody would have already acted. Those vested with the authority to act would have already acted. And therefore, or either that or they are derelict in discharging their duties. So you go figure, Salah. And well, it's a free country and you're free to express yourself about every and anything, including our leaders, as long as there is nothing that would be considered as libelous or slanderous. Outside of that, it's par for the course, really. This one says, Mr. Malcolm, can you send happy birthday wishes to my daughter, Davia Dixon, from, what's this now? This is Boldes. Is that Boldes? Boldes Crescent, St. Catherine. She will be 12 on Sunday, December 11. Greetings from her father, David, in Houston, Texas. So happy birthday when it comes on Sunday, Davia Dixon. I hope we got the place name right. We see the spelling as Boldes from Boldes Crescent, St. Catherine. She'll be 12 on Sunday, December 11. Greetings from her father, David, in Houston, Texas. Continuing with more on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. What do we have here now? The game. Is it? It's still 2-2. Let's refresh this page. Argentina versus Netherlands. And the play continues. Let's see. So I guess this is now, what they call it. This is now extra time. Is that the correct designation? Because they had time added on earlier on. So this must be extra time. It's still going. Netherlands versus Argentina in the 104th minute of the match. All right, we'll keep an eye on that while we continue. Hello, Cherry Henry. She says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. I'm watching World Cup. Well, good for you, Miss Cherry. Enjoy World Cup. Enjoy. Thank you very much for your message. Keep those messages coming on. And let's see who this is now. There's an update on the George Floyd story. Ex-cop who kneeled on George Floyd's back gets 3.5-year term. The former Minneapolis police officer who kneeled on George Floyd's back while another officer kneeled on the black man's neck was sentenced today to 3.5 years in prison. J. Alexander Queng pleaded guilty in October to a state count of aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. In exchange, a charge of aiding and abetting murder was dropped. Queng is already serving a federal sentence for violating Floyd's civil rights, and the state and federal sentence will be served at the same time. Queng appeared at the hearing via video from a federal prison in Ohio. When given the chance to address the court, he declined. Floyd's family members had the right to make victim impact statements, but none of them did. Attorney Ben Crump, who has represented the family, said in a statement before the hearing that Queng's sentencing delivers yet another piece of justice for the Floyd family. While the family faces yet another holiday season without George, we hope that moments like these continue to bring them a measure of peace, knowing that George's death was not in vain, he said. Floyd died on May 25, 2020, after former officer Derek Chauvin kneeled on Floyd's neck for 9.5 minutes, as Floyd reportedly said he couldn't breathe and eventually went limp. The killing, which was recorded on video by a bystander, sparked worldwide protests as part of a broader reckoning over racial injustice. Queng kneeled on Floyd's back during the restraint. Then Officer Thomas Lane held Floyd's legs, and Tao, also an officer at the time, kept bystanders from intervening. All of the officers were fired and faced state and federal charges. As part of his plea agreement, Queng admitted that he held Floyd's torso, that he knew from his experience and training that restraining a handcuffed person in a prone position created a substantial risk, and that the restraint of Floyd was unreasonable under the circumstances. What a tragedy that was and continues to be, especially for the family of the deceased. We'll come back with more in just a moment.
Punk rock uproar. My mother has just finished her third bottle of whiskey on top of 124 grains of Valium. You'll get yours. Gutting it all down a sight. Day 11. You have scandalized my mother, you dirty Jezebel. It was bad enough to have 8 maids of milk and dancing to punk music on the front lawn, but they've now been joined by your friends, the 11 Lords of Leaping, and the antics of the whole lot of them would leave the most decadent days of the Roman Empire looking like outlook. I'll get you yet, you owl bag. Day 12. Listen, slurry head, you have ruined our lives. The 12 maidens dancing turned up last night and beat the living daylights out of the 8 maids of milking because they found them carrying on with the 11 lords of leaping. Meanwhile, the swans got out of the living room where they've been hiding since the big battle and savaged hell out of the lords and all the maids. There were 8 ambulances here last night and the local civil defence as well. The mother is in a home for the bewildered and I'm sitting here up to me neck and...
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
RGD at your service will be in the United States at Exchange Park Recreation Center,
Hello?
2771 Columbia Drive, Decatur, GA 334 in Atlanta, Georgia from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. They will be accepting applications for the following services: certificates for birth, death, marriage, and adoption, record of dating services such as correction of error,
His full name is
entry
you
of
send
name,
that in the
additional
message?
father's particulars, late
His full name.
registration and re-registration, ultimately search, formerly genealogy research, and registry wedding services.
All right.
There's a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with only approximately 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people do not participate in a formal pension plan, such as contract workers and the self-employed, and some are not eligible for a government pension. Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement.
An
Join
interview-
Real Business every Monday at
interview
9:30
details
a.m.
from
for an
Lorna.
informative discussion with Peter
For an
Rose
interview
Hall,
now.
Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement Wealth Creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher.
Foremost in your thoughts, I had only posted my letter when the 3 French hens arrived. There was another sort out between the hens and the dogs who sided with the partridge, and the vet had to be sent for again. The mother was raging because the bill was £16 this time, but she has almost cooled down. However, the fact that the bird's droppings keep falling down on her hair while she's watching the telly doesn't help matters. Thanking you for your kindness, I remain your governor. Day 4. Dear Nola, you mustn't have received my last letter when you were sending us the 4 calling birds. There was pandemonium in the Pear Tree again last night, and the vet's bill was £32. The mother is on sedation as I write. I know you meant no harm, and remain your close friend, Governor. Day 5. Nola, your generosity knows no bounds. 5 gold rings. When the parcel arrived, I was scared stiff that it might be more.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 28. 现在几点了？5点cha Archer ba fen. 28 minutes make that now 27 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to check in with the general manager of Jamaica Mortgage Bank, although we're not talking with him this afternoon about the Jamaica Mortgage Bank, rather in his capacity as a St. Andrew JP and a key member of that cohort of justices of the peace. Mr. Winter, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I am great. Thank you very much, sir. How are you?
I am doing well, thanks. Can you remind us of the position you occupy within the St. Andrew cohort of JPs, please?
Right. This question is not really about the Jamaica market. But however, I'm a director on the board of the St. Andrew Justice of the Peace and was asked to actually chair an award ceremony upcoming Saturday, tomorrow at the 8th hotel. So
just a moment, Mr. Winter. We really want to hear every word you're saying, except that the connection is not in sync. I wonder if we can hold the line, please. Let's see if we can straighten out the connection. Let's see if we can straighten out the connection. In the meantime, thank you very much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we are learning more about tomorrow's awards banquet of St. Andrew JPs, Justices of the Peace. And that information will be given to us in detail by Mr. Winter. So let's try again from the top, Mr. Winter.
Right. So I was saying this interview is really not about just
And so it's just JP's being honored. Is that it? Mhm. And how large a grouping of JPs will be honored tomorrow evening? Wow. Nice. Yes. It's all voluntary. Mm. Are there uh, particular individuals, institutions, organizations that you would like to highlight at this point? Those who are helping you to be able to put on this awards function. After all, it takes cash to care, doesn't it? Mhm. And what can you tell us about the event itself? Paint a picture for us of how you envision tomorrow's celebration unfolding at the AC Marriott Hotel. Are fit and proper. Mm-hmm. Sounds like you'll be opening the dance floor, Mr. Winter. Yes. Big event. Yes. Hello? We thought we had lost you. Yes. Right. Well, we want to wish you a successful event. It speaks to national service. You're all involved in the business of serving this nation. You're all involved in nation building, and it's a good thing to be able to recognize and to be recognized by your peers on this occasion. We want to congratulate all those involved, especially you, Mr. Chairman, uh, Chairman of the St. Andrew Justices of the Peace Association Awards Banquet. Right, right. Yeah. Sure. True. Mhm. Mhm. It's been a pleasure, and we thank the sponsors for coming on board and supporting the occasion. All the very best to you, Mr. Winter. It's been a pleasure. Take care. You're welcome. Courtney Winter, who chairs the St. Andrew Justices of the Peace Association Awards banquet, which is scheduled for the AC Marriott Hotel tomorrow evening. We wish them well and all the very best. Continuing with more on your program. Oops, time for the break. Let's break and come back. ¿Qué hora es en espagnol? Son las 5 menos 13. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 13. 现在几点了？5点加13分。13 minutes to make that now 12 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Well, there's a most fruitful, depending on how you look at it, a most fruitful football match is on right now. Netherlands versus Argentina. Looks like we're going to penalties right now. So there was time added on, and then there was extra time. And now it's penalties time. Time for the penalties. As it is now, Netherlands 2, Argentina 2. Molina Nawel scored in the 35th minute for Argentina. Then in the 73rd minute, a penalty taken by Lionel Messi. And then the Dutch name I'm yet to confirm in terms of pronunciation. Weghorst Wout. Weghorst Wout. That's that he scored in the 83rd minute. Weghorst Wout in the 83rd minute. So let's see what happens. Penalties, that's what's unfolding now at the Lusail Stadium. The referee is Antonio Mate Lajos. He was quite animated as he briefed the captains. And let's see how it goes. Okay, we're watching from a distance. All right, looks like one has been saved. A penalty taken by an Argentinian who we can't identify from this distance. So that's all right. We'll keep an eye out. So Argentina scored one. We should welcome Penny Celestine. Penny Celestine, hello to you in Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome, Penny Celestine from Trinidad. Audrey Smith in Southampton in England. She said, in fact, she says she's tuning in from a very, very cold Cardiff, South Wales. Welcome to Audrey Smith in Cardiff, South Wales. Thank you for making it both sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. It's penalty time, and looks like two converted for Argentina. And all right, it's quite tense. We can see that from a distance, our television monitor some distance away, but clear enough for us to have a general idea. Here's another penalty, and goes in. So goalkeeper sent the other way. Lots of smiles by the Argentinians. The Netherlands having their opportunity now to take another of the penalties. Let's see what happens. Did it happen? Let's see. Yes, it did. So the Netherlands scoring. There's a lot of tension. And it should be quite intriguing, a finish from all that we have seen so far. 7 minutes to 5 o'clock, coming to pretty close to wrapping up. Three penalties. Argentina 1, Netherlands. Argentina missing the most recent of the penalties. Wonder what the implications are. Argentinians holding their heads while the Dutch celebrating. And the Dutch have their opportunity now. And looks like they got that one. There's a lot of remonstration taking place. Hugging as well. Waiting. But the Dutch scored. So that's three goals for Argentina. Somebody got a yellow card. Who was that? But three to Argentina, 2 to Netherlands. Penalties, that is. And let's see how it will end. Team members, arms around each other, spreading their arms like wings on the shoulders of their teammates. Argentina scores. This looks like it. It looks like that's it, isn't it? Yep, that's it. The Netherlands are distraught. The Dutch cannot believe what just happened. They can't believe it. They can't believe it. Lionel Messi celebrates. He's lifted up by one of his teammates and then returned to earth. Three I'm just looking at the updates here. So 3 penalties successfully taken by Argentina, 2 by the Netherlands. And the celebrations, look at Lionel Messi punching the air. The Dutch, which one of them is that? His head is on the turf. They are inconsolable at this point. They played so well. And it must be devastating. Must certainly be devastating. So the victors and the vanquished on the field exhibiting emotions pertinent to the outcome, in line with the outcome of this match. What a thing. What a thing. So Argentina winning this match 3-2 on penalties. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Friday, the 9th of December, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns Monday afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Thanks, Aid, and the other members of the team. Have a peaceful and safe weekend.
So they might leave the most decadent days of the Roman Empire looking like outlook. I'll get you yet, you owl bag. Day 12. Listen, slurry head, you have ruined our lives. The 12 maidens dancing turned up last night and beat the living daylights out of the 8 maids of milking because they found them carrying on with the 11 lords of Leon. Meanwhile, the swans got out of the living room where they've been hiding since the big battle and savaged hell out of the lords and all the maids. There were 8 ambulances here last night and the local civil defence as well. The mother is in a home for the bewildered and I'm sitting here up to me neck in birds, droppings, empty whiskey and valium bottles, birds, blood and feathers, where the flaming cows eats the leaves off the pear tree. I'm a broken man, cutting it all out of sea.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.